Now when it comes to swimming, I would say this is probably at least one of the best enjoyable sports out there. Like there's nothing better than going on a trip every Friday begging your mom to give out that money so you can just play around in the pool. Like I would not even go there for practice. Just getting that money, I was hype. Like, I didn't even care whatever the day got when it comes to reading and writing and all that junk. And when that bus finally pulls up at the elementary school, there is nothing sweeter than that. Everyone boards, and sometimes these drivers can really be going for it. That drive is a 45-minute to 1 hour away. Always. So these guys will be having to wear all kinds of stuff on that bus. But at the ages of 5 years, what do you expect? And then we finally made it to the pool. The sun sparkling over the waters and hearing the sounds of the waves. Like sometimes you feel like you just want to jump in, but that's probably one of the worst things you can do. Because out of the entire class, I don't think no one here knows how to swim. Like, yeah, we can kick, but if you throw one of these kids into the pool, you're gonna have to dive in whilst you throw them. Now this swimming center came with 2 pools, the big and the small. I was trying to go into the small because that's where we did all the fun stuff and it's much safer there. But these swimming coaches would throw us into the big pools first, and this pool was like 5-6 feet deep. And you guys probably thinking 6 feet is not even that deep. I know, but as a kid at 5 years old, I was terrified. I wasn't even 5 feet or 4 feet, and that was just the start of the pool. We had to make our way every single week all the way to the end of the pool, and at that point that's around 8-9 feet deep, thinking back at it. And if I could remember, you pretty much gotta do all the practices first before you make your way over to the small pool. Like this was pure torture. So we get changed and some kids will just jump into the pool, and I can't remember if I ever did that. So I would slowly graze my 5-year-old butt on the ground and then into the pool, and then I would turn around to hold the wall. Like that's what I would do every single time, and I would never let go of that wall, because if I did, I would be struggling so bad to stay above the surface of the water. Like sometimes I feel like I couldn't even tiptoe. And these kids, some of them were a little crazy. But now it's time for the practices, and these swimming coaches did not give up. Like they would start us off nice, where we would be on the top of the wall, belly flat on the ground and stuff, and our legs be kicking into the pool. But then we gotta hold the wall and be inside the pool. Now, although this was a shallow side, this was still really scary, especially when we're kicking. Like our body pretty much gotta be above water. And I don't know how these coaches will think these 5-year-olds will be able to float above water, because every time I kick, I would just be sinking from my belly to my legs. I would never stay above water, and your arms gotta be fully stretched out. Like I was holding on to that wall for my dear life. And every time I would kick and sink, I would just use the wall that I'm holding to just push off, using my feet to start back kicking and continued sinking. Like at times, I don't even know what I was doing. And then after I survived that, these coaches be having the balls to say, "Alright everyone, so go grab a float. This time we'll be teaching you guys how to float." And there were 2 types of floats, the flat ones and the long noodle things. I was looking to grab that board. Like how do you expect these 5-year-olds to survive on these tiny noodle things? And sometimes I will make it to where they have all the floats, and I see this tiny noodle. Like this was horrifying for me. So I would take around 3 of these things and then go into the pool. And once again, these coaches be having the balls to tell us to let go of the wall. Like they be thinking they're doing a good job teaching us, but as a 5-year-old, this was pure madness. So I hold on to this noodle so like I would never let this noodle go. Like if one ever slipped, I caught that thing so quick. Like I was pretty much on survival is what it felt like. Like just imagine being in a pool and the only thing keeping you above water is what you're holding, and your feet is nowhere touching the ground. Cause sometimes I'd be trying to touch the ground of this pool and I would never sometimes feel it. And I was at the very edge at the start of the pool because I was so scared that this thing would just float me to the deep end without me even knowing. But just when I thought the deep end, alright guys, so now we're going to the deep end, and they be saying it's so casual, like you're about to drop a group of 5-year-olds in the deep end to drown. Like that was pretty much death right there. And I can't even remember for sure if you were able to use the floats. I think so, but all I know is that I was pretty much moving my way to my death. We all hold this edge of the pool like a line and slowly made our way down that pool. And I was holding on to that wall so tight. Like if I ever let go of that wall, I would definitely drown. Like I was dead. Because what else is there to hold? Like, I can't hold a kid. Because if I hold on to that kid and start sinking, they're gonna hold on to the next kid. The next thing you know, it was only one person that was supposed to drown that day. Three of them end up drowning, trying to use each other as floats. But what else was there to do? Like I can't swim. But now luckily, nothing never went down. And this wasn't the worst of it. We made our way back up and that wall, like bro, like just imagine being in a pool and the only thing you can use as safety is holding that wall. And if you ever let go of this wall, I'm pretty much dead. It's like I said before, I can't swim. Like these coaches will be having us diving into the pool without a float. I'm talking no noodles, nothing. Like what is there to hold? Like what is there to hold? How is this even legal? And they will always be using this line, the water's gonna float you back up. Like bro, no one gives a flying that the water's gonna float you back up. Cause what if one of us drowns and floats up unconscious? What are you really gonna tell the parent? Yeah, miss, something was definitely wrong with your son. And this one was probably the worst out of them all. Like, I mean, I've got nothing to hold. Diving into a pool, except for like, there's nothing. And I don't even think you could have backed out. Like there was a whole line. Like, there's times I would just want to run to the back, so I would never go up. But nope. So when it was my turn, I would put my two skinny arms together and I hold my breath. So now I'm talking no boards, no noodles, I can't swim, and I've barely felt the bottom of this pool, and I've got no height. I'm talking 5 years old, and when I dive, I would just scrape the surface of this pool, and I'm like struggling to stay above water, and I'm kicking my tiny legs, shortening out all my breath. And I'm not moving anywhere. And these coaches, like I'm struggling. I don't even think they ever came to help, thinking this guy was just having some fun. And I can't even remember how I would make my way back to the pool. Like, I was struggling. I'm talking water almost above head, pretty much just struggling my way back. And if I was tiptoeing, I was probably just on one toe, on one foot, barely, face a little above water. And then you gotta go to the back on that line and do that thing again. And these coaches really be saying, yeah, you gotta dive like down and come up from the other side. After these things, these coaches really have no idea what's going through these 5-year-old heads. So I would pretty much do this the exact same way that I did before. And sometimes I would try to do what this guy is saying and end up struggling even more. And then going back to the start of the line and then do that thing again and would dive down. And sometimes the water would actually float me back up, but I was still struggling. And I don't know why I did that, knowing that I can't swim. 5 years old, am I right? Now I think there were a few more madness taking place in these pools, but then we made our way to the small pool. After all of that, and you can do whatever you want. Like this was the best part, the small pool. Now I would say this is a good way to make kids not afraid of the water, but at the same time I think the kids should be a little older than 5, because bro, when you really think about it, what was we really learning at the ages of 5 years old? I don't think no one will think of using this as a way of survival until they reach a proper age of like 9 years old, where they can function a little better. It is a good experience and was very fun overall, but that was scary, terrifying and horrifying. Being in a deep pool with nothing to hold, knowing that you can't swim and barely feeling the ground of this pool while struggling to stay above water. And this was my experience at the pool as a kindergartner. Like I was so scared of this but happy being in the water. So I went to this every single week.